Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings and welcome to Walney Island up in Cumbria. Thank you to all the guys on Instagram who voted to fly the Harvard up here in the beautiful Lake District. We're going to have a fantastic flight, nice chilled out, relaxing sightseeing flight in this wonderful World War II trainer. Now, some of you may have caught the Spitfire tutorial series that I did. This is the kind of aircraft that you would have been flying before you went on to something like the Spitfire, and I can heartily recommend if you're really interested in getting into warbirds and it's something that you've not done before at the A2A level anyway. I can really recommend starting off with the Harvard, just getting to grips with a tail dragger, and you'll be rewarded by a fantastic aircraft to fly. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a good way of learning the ropes, and it's got its own character itself. So we're going to be taking this beautiful Harvard from Walney Island. We're going to route via Lake Windermere. We're going to go over to Scafell Pike, and then we're going to come back down to Coniston Water, and then back down to Walney Island. So it's a section of the Lake District that is quite beautiful, and which will just allow us to stretch our legs a bit here in the Harvard and have a nice little flight. Now, with as with previous videos, unfortunately through lockdown, well, it's not so much lockdown now, but still working from home, it's very difficult for me to do any videos of any particular length over about half an hour, purely because of how slow my internet is and how long it takes to upload anything. So we're not going to be doing full startups or shutdowns or anything like that. This is purely just having a bit of fun, you coming along for the ride and having a chat while we're doing it. Okay, so we are heading for runway 05. Beautiful morning, weather's fantastic, a little bit of cloud, but nothing that's really going to bother us. Got 12 knots of wind, which isn't too heavy, so it should be good weather for a nice sightseeing trip. Just going to stop us here. We've done all our checks, but just before we enter the active runway, we're going to put our landing lights on and we will put our strobe on. Okay. Check nothing's coming. So I think at this point we'll close the canopy. Actually no, do you know what, we'll leave it open. We'll pretend we've got the fresh Cumbrian air blowing in through the window. Okay, so takeoff roll. We're looking at maximum 36 inches manifold pressure here. It's very easy to open it up all the way and you don't need to. She's airborne. Just ease off now. Close the canopy, it's getting a bit noisy. It's better. Let's trim her out a bit. Take our landing lights off now. Okay, let's head on to course. Playing with the lean there a little bit. So what have we got here? First of all, this is not Microsoft Flight Simulator, as you probably guessed. Why am I not in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Well, I do like it. And you probably saw the last video, you would have seen me oohing and ahhing and just being absolutely gobsmacked by the scenery, and you cannot deny that scenery is just incredible. I've had a few issues with it, not really necessarily the fault, well, could be the fault of the simulator, I don't know. I can't get my game controller to work with it. I've tried two, including a Microsoft Xbox game controller to control the cameras, and in P3D I'm using Chase Plane. Chase Plane is just a fantastic piece of software that enables you to control all sorts of different cameras, and I really miss that. You can do camera work within Microsoft Flight Simulator, but with not being able to get my game controller to work with it, you know, that kind of gets in the way. So for a start, it's great to be able to use that again in here, and certainly for making videos I think it makes it more interesting for you if I'm able to do different camera shots instead of just that looking forward, or that. I also had problems getting my keyboard to work, but I think I've finally got around that now. Don't ask me how, but something clicked and it seemed to start working. So what else hasn't it got? It hasn't got this. It hasn't got this level of aircraft fidelity in there. I think Microsoft Flight Simulator it's got huge potential. I'm not an expert. I don't do reviews. I'm not coming on here to say I know everything about flight simulators and you're going to listen to me and I'm going to tell you my opinion because my opinion is very important. That's not the case at all. It's just me talking to you as we're flying along, and I'm just kind of waffling and talking about how I feel about it. And I do think it's got huge potential. There are things that need ironing out, in my opinion. The the fact the weather isn't 100% accurate. The aircraft that come with Flight Simulator are a lot better than the default aircraft you used to get, but they're still not like this. And you know, a company like A2A, if you've watched any of my videos, you probably realise by now that I just about only fly A2A. And the reason for that is because what they produce is about as close as you can get in a simulator to reality, and that's why government organisations, that's why private flying schools, that's why the Bulby Flight Academy, who have the Spitfire simulator, that's why they use this technology. And that for me is the big thing that's missing at the moment. The Harvard, the Spitfire, the Mustang, I'm unusual, and I really admit that I am unusual in terms of YouTube content, that I don't fly airliners. You won't see me getting in a 747 and boarding the passengers and doing all that kind of stuff. My thing is warbirds and also doing a bit of GA. And that's really what I'm waiting for. So Flight Simulator is fantastic for having a bit of fun. I love the X-Cub. I've had some great fun doing group flights in there. Incidentally, head over to the Sky Lounge TV on Discord. They've got something there called the Cub Club. It's just great fun. Bunch of people flying around in Cubs. Had a great blast doing that. I've also had a blast flying with some other people using the multiplayer there. And in the Cub, it's great fun. I wouldn't do this kind of thing in it because there's nothing in there at the moment. Sightseeing, yeah, great. Sightseeing is really good. But this kind of warbird flying or serious systems GA flying, it's just not in there at the moment. But it will be, and when it is, that simulator is going to be absolutely fantastic. No doubt about it. But for the time being, I'm loving P3D and my A2A warbirds. And let's be honest, that ain't bad. P3D version 5 with True Sky is certainly a big leap forward, and I just think it's beautiful. And it's only going to get better as they develop it, and the True Sky comes out of beta into you know, the final release, as it were, and then it's just going to be gorgeous. So I'm going to be flying both. In terms of the channel, you will see a bit of both. You'll see some P3D on there, you'll see some Flight Simulator on there, you might even see some X-Plane on there. And in a way, this is the great thing at the moment. This year, it's just been a revolution in flight sims. You've got the P3D version 5, you've got Flight Simulator, and all of a sudden the flight sim world has woken up, and you've got people trying flight sims who possibly wouldn't have looked at it before, and I think that's a good thing. And I think it's a great thing that potentially Flight Simulator will get people into that. I would say if anyone is looking to get really serious with it, just wait for when the third-party stuff comes out. Then you'll be absolutely blown away. Coming up now on Lake Windermere. This is the or the largest natural lake in England. It's 11 miles long. And for the geography buffs among us, it's actually a ribbon lake, which is formed in a trough by retreating ice from the end of the last ice age. There you go. Absolutely gorgeous morning. You really can get some nice looks in P3D version 5, True Sky. Might not be perfect yet, there's still a few things to iron out, but that ain't bad. So we've just got cruise power on, tooting along. The Harvard, or Texan, as it's actually the Texan, it's actually the T6 Texan. We're modelled in Harvard colours. Just a beautiful aeroplane for doing this kind of thing. The thing that I can't get across to you though is just how gorgeous it is to fly. If you're looking for a bit of a challenge, it's kind of it's quite a kind aircraft in some respects. Takeoff in this is a lot easier than a Spitfire and a heck of a lot easier than a Mustang, but you do have to keep your wits around it. It can bite you, but it's just a pleasure to fly. It is not the quickest, but it's very capable. Up here on the town of Windermere. There we have the famous Windermere floating tree. Loch Ness has a Loch Ness monster, Windermere has a tree. I think in real life that's probably a little island. Yeah, I would say looking at this, that is an island that's somehow been covered by the water texture, which is a bit strange. This is Orbx True Earth North, by the way. And what I'm going to do here is just get a bit of height just so we can appreciate the scenery a bit more. Climb speed in the T6 or Harvard is about 110 knots. So we'll just check that. We've got climb power in. Come back round. So yeah, I think it's an exciting time for sims. I kind of like the fact that at the moment I've got my, what I would call my serious sim, which is P3D, for doing this kind of realistic flying in a aircraft that's realistically modelled. And then got your fun sim, which is Microsoft Flight Simulator, where you can have a look around and do some sightseeing and have a play. That's Ray Castle down there. Look at those hills. Beautiful. The Lake District for me has always been a kind of a waypoint on the drive up to the Highlands of Scotland. Whenever I go up there from down south, the Lake District, and this has been the same ever since I was a kid. When I was a kid, we used to come on holiday up here quite a bit, and there was one point in my life where I lived on the Murray Firth, and the Lake District was always the point at which I knew I was about to leave England and you were entering the land of amazing scenery. And it is stunning in its own right. I've only ever been on holiday once here, and that was when I was a young man with my first serious girlfriend, and that's all you need to know. That scenery is just incredible. I love the lighting. My favourite times to fly are dawn and dusk. I just think you get the most beautiful lighting. And in P3D it's just even better. So we're in the Lake District National Park. What's interesting about this neck of the woods is the history, which I won't go into and I don't know enough about really, but Windermere actually is an old, or comes from an Old Norse name, which really kind of emphasises how at one stage the country, this island, was getting visited by the Norse hordes who were taking hold of land, populating areas, and we have that legacy in our language and in our place names. Isn't that just beautiful? Fly the plane, for crying out loud. Wow. We have Scafell Pike. Now Scafell Pike is the tallest mountain in England at 3,209 feet. Just to put that into perspective, Snowdon, which is the tallest mountain in Wales, is 3,560 feet, and good old Ben Nevis, which is the tallest mountain in Scotland and the United Kingdom, is 4,413 feet. Beautiful. I've got to say, this stunning It's stunning. I'm so stunned I can't talk. This scenery is quite stunning. Great time to fly. Love that haze effect on the hills. Check that everything's looking good, yes. Don't forget to fly the plane. A cloud coming in over there from the sea. Flown over Hard Knot, and down there is Cockley Beck. Something else while we're messing around, I'll just show you, is cycle through my views a bit. This is what Chaseplane does. So here you go. So you can actually, in this T6, you can fly from the back seat, which gives you a slightly different perspective, and you can add a pilot to the front, so you've got someone's bone dome in the way, which again adds to the adds a different aspect to it. Let's get back in the front. There we go. So what are we over now? That is Seathwaite Tarn, by the looks of it. I'm trying to read the map. And there we have, in all its glory, Coniston Water. This is the old man of Coniston that we're just about to go over here. The old man of Coniston is 2,632 feet. Great name for a hill. There you get a good example of corries or cums, depending on what part of the world you come from, where the ice would have built up and then scooped out and then flowed down the side. Now, God, this is turning into a geography thing, isn't it? I think it's probably one of the glacial erosion and all that kind of stuff was one of the things that really interested. So there we have Lake Coniston. Now Lake Coniston is also a ribbon lake which was formed by the retreating ice. And again, Coniston Water, the name Coniston, that comes from an Old Norse name as well. Interesting, Romans, when the Romans occupied the country, they used to mine copper from the fens around here. So it goes back a long way. Some of you, a lot of you, no doubt, have heard of Coniston from the water speed record attempts. Back in 1966, Donald Campbell, who was really following in his father's footsteps, decided that he was going to set the record at 300 miles an hour because he felt that was the best way of retaining it. So he set out on the 4th of January 1967 in the Bluebird K7, and he actually reached 320 miles an hour, which was quite something. Tragically, on his return journey, the hydroplane somersaulted and crashed and sank very quickly, and tragically Donald Campbell died. And because he hadn't completed the return journey, that record couldn't stand, which is a great shame considering he lost his life. And then back in 2001 they actually recovered the Bluebird, and they also recovered what they could of Donald Campbell, so it was nice that he was able to be laid to rest. But there are just some characters in life that just leave the world doing some amazing things, doing what they love, and I think that's the only way of looking at it. But you can see by the shape of it, and also the name ribbon kind of gives that away, that it's just a fantastic piece of water for trying to break a water speed record. It's relatively calm with the right conditions, it's long, it's kind of got everything that you need. Okay. So now we head back. Let's just take it over to the coast here, head towards Kirby. Moss's Nature Reserve over there. What looks like a huge gravel pit or something going on here. So that's a closer look. So what's great about this kind of scenery, every now and again you see something and you think, what is that? Yeah, that looks like some sort of gravel pits, excavation pits. It's not showing anything on this map. Could be a mine, copper mine perhaps. I have absolutely no idea. Okay, let's bring around. I just spotted something which I might be able to show you, which is kind of, is it still there? It's not really noticeable. Okay, never mind. On fuel 30, 50, so we'll flip the tanks just for this final bit. I need to get controls set up in version 5 for this. There we go. Just burned some from the right tank now. I tend to try and balance them as I go along, but I must admit on this trip I've got a little bit distracted. Not far at all now. So we'll join right hand downwind. Just ease off on the power a little bit. Fine. Just ease back a bit more on the power. This stage, I will pop the landing lights on as we enter into the circuit. Angle the old Dunlops. 2 greens. Let's turn in. Punch a flap. Always have to remember in the T6 that it has a central neutral position, so it's not flap up, flap down. You have to remember that you have to go for that central position as well. Otherwise you can get yourself into a bit of treacle, thinking you've lowered flaps if you haven't checked it. I've not done too many Harvard landings recently, so this could be painful, especially for the Harvard or Texan veterans out there. A little bit high, but not too worried about that. There we go. Skitty, a little bit of bluster. Slight crosswind, nothing major. Straight. Pull back on the elevator a little bit just to give us some extra braking. And we are down. Flaps up. So there you go. What a lovely little flight. I hope you enjoyed it. Certainly nice to see a bit of the Lake District in this wonderful aircraft. And I shall see you on the channel soon. But will it be Microsoft Flight Simulator or will it be P3D? We shall see. Take care now. Bye bye.